question. How do you think engagement influences how successful Augusta is in maintaining its sense of community?
I mean, right now it's everything, right? And again, sort of being new here, you kind of see it from sort of a different perspective. Coming into a city that's 203,000 people, but being able to sort of feel like it's a hometown, it makes you understand that we've done something right. People feel like they can reach out. They like literally they call the mayor directly. There's not been those barriers, I think, that sometimes people sort of seem to have when it comes to government. A lot of times it's they don't know how to access or they don't know how. And I think Augusta has done a good job in just sort of saying, you know what, this is the welcome mat, please come in. And so when you go into a crisis like COVID, that we don't know how long it's going to last, but you've already said you're welcome, it makes it easier when you transition. Residents know who they can call. When I listened to like my very first commission meeting here, you recognize that the commissioners here are very embedded in their communities. People feel it's easy. I can walk down the street and talk to them. I see them at dinner. I go to church with them. And so that makes the communication and engagement side from the larger perspective from the city side a lot easier because there's an expectation that you're going to engage. And if you do it right, they're going to come back to you and engage back to you. Do we always get it right? No. But our residents here have ownership of what goes on in the city. So, you've got folks that come to commission meeting, and even now, what we call delegation and what most people call sort of the public comment time period for commission meetings, they'll still come to the commission chamber, even though we're not meeting in chamber, so that they can be heard. It's those things. It's just the familiar touches. Again, that's the big thing for me is those little touches mean so much to people. We will take a meeting in person if we have to. But at the end of the day, it is really important they feel like their voices are heard. And however that looks and feels for them, I've been, again, 2 months in, and I have people now calling me at, after hours or texting me. I had a long conversation last night with someone about something that came up and they didn't like the result of it. And we literally had probably a 30-minute conversation, but we resolved sort of what their consternation was in that call to go to the next steps, right? That's what it's about. They've got to feel like, especially now, and I say especially now because we're going to be this for a while. And so if they can't reach out and touch you, through text messages, calls, FaceTime, I've got folks that FaceTime. I'm like, I really don't want you to see me on video right now, but okay, we'll try this. But it's always sort of being available. I always say, in all of my previous positions and including this one, it's 24/7. So, and it's 365. And that availability has to be real. And fortunately and unfortunately for me, I live that. So if you call me at 1:00 in the morning, if I hear my phone, I'm going to answer it because that is really what we're supposed to do. And when they know that you're accessible, it makes life easier. So when we have to make those harder decisions, much like Danny's talking about, it makes it easier for them to accept them as well. Because you've already engaged them up front and you brought them in and they're participating. And the more that they can participate and know that you hear them, the more it just makes life easier on the flip side of things. So.
That's great. I love your discussion because it's something that everybody has said today, and that is really about how your leadership has stepped up. And you introduced the term honesty. I kind of use the term authentic, and
right.
It strikes me that in all of the panelist communities, that authentic leadership is something that has really helped. It maybe is a little thing, but it's a really important thing.
It's everything. At some point, it's everything, because if your residents, if your constituency, they don't have the trust in you, who are you talking to?
Right.
And who's listening?
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah.